Come on. Alright, what up YouTube? First YouTube video in the mix. This will be my first motovlog as long as everything works out well, so wish me luck. Really don't know what to expect here. Right now we got audio going through the Cardo. I got the Pack Talk Edge finally, so hopefully that means that you can hear me, you can hear the bike, and we got the old chin mount, so you now see what I see and you're not on top of my head. Super exciting actually. This is my first motovlog with this particular motorcycle. If you knew previously on my channel, on some of the videos I posted, I talked about getting a Yamaha MT-07, and unfortunately for you guys, I actually did make that happen. I got a Yamaha MT-07 and I rode it around for most of last year, and I actually really loved that bike. After riding it around and stuff, I decided that I really like touring, and you know, that Yamaha just wasn't really for me. You know, I'm 6'3", 300 pounds, and an MT-07 is, well, probably not meant for that. So, you know, today this is going to be more of a video just fucking yapping, riding. This video is more for me than it is for necessarily YouTube purposes. You know, obviously I'm hoping that it's a good high quality video coming out of this, but keeping my mind open. Hope we get a good break in traffic here. Come on. Come on. There she is. Alright. So hopefully the angle's pretty good. You know, I got a pretty tall windshield on here, so that may hinder you. Hopefully it kind of helps with some wind noise. You may not be able to see as much of what I see because that fairing is large, and that's just street glide life. Which, by the way, this is a 2008 Harley Davidson Street Glide. Let's get through this light here, brother. But yeah, this would be season 2 of riding for me, and I am loving it. You know, I didn't realize how much I'd actually like it. I had an idea, but man, once you get that taste, woo! You know, it's not for everybody, but boy, do I just get so much joy out of it. The community is great. You see people all over the place, and you know, it's a nice change of pace from cars. But yeah, I don't even have a topic for today. I'm just going to be kind of yapping whatever comes to my mind. Maybe we'll come up with some funny moments, or maybe we won't. Wish this guy would hurry up. That would be very nice. Bunch of Sunday drivers. Got people on my butt. Please stay off my booty. Please and thank you. But anyways, we're about to have a chance to open her up. So we're going to fucking crank that hog, brother. Crank the hog, brother. Gotta love cranking the hog, brother. Oh, he didn't see me, but that's alright. Yeah, we'll do a little bit of cruising. I'm going to do visor up for a little bit, and then I'll switch the visor down, kind of go back and listen to the audio. Gotta crank the hog a little bit for that. Yeah, but, you know, long time no see. Channel updates, as per usual. I got a couple different projects for this year, which is super exciting. Unfortunately, the Mazda is no longer with us, guys. Please still send me all kinds of questions and everything. I love doing that project, swapping the Mazda Speed 3 transmission into the Mazda. You know, that footage is always going to stay up on my YouTube. If it's helpful to somebody, then it's worth keeping up. It's less about the views, more about just helping other people and creating community. With that being said, if you have a Mazda 3 still and you're looking at videos and you just happen to come across this one, well, this is hopefully more of what my videos look like. Not all of them, but certainly some of them. gonna go visor down. See what this sounds like. A little break of the hob. Oh, brother. And actually, I might even have a brother coming up behind me. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. You know, we already got somebody. I don't know this guy. The biker community. You know, we might cruise for a while. We might not. We'll see. Well, this is the stuff that you love to see right here. Oh, what is that? Is that a Busa? Let's see, oh. Get a little tug. But yeah, this right here is what it's all about, boys. You know, it's awesome that we still happen to catch up with another brother. Oh, McDonald's. Guys, another exciting update in my life. Speaking of McDonald's, I'm trying to unfat myself. And in doing so, in my area, we actually just had a body transformation challenge. And I actually came in first place. Started in the beginning of January, kind of sort of into December. And it just ended literally just the other day. But yeah, I mean that's super cool. I lost 25 pounds, got a little stronger in the process, you know. So I do feel better, but of course I don't plan on ending it there. If I can, I'll get my old physique back, which you know it's going to take some work. I'm definitely overweight, but it comes with time, and keep on doing the same thing and doing what you're supposed to do. It will all come together in the end. So that's super exciting. It's really just nice to get out, like, get back on the horse. You know what I mean? I mean, fitness is something that so many people, fitness and health really, are something that so many people take for granted. And, you know, I kind of felt like that's kind of what I was doing. I don't want to do that. I don't want to, you know, I don't want to waste my life away being a fat piece of crap. Because, you know, there's just so much more that this world has to offer. I also have a daughter. That's something. You should do the things you need to do to live longer. That might be ironic. You know, people see you on a motorcycle, but you see I'm riding. I'm not out here. I'm not going to be lane splitting and cutting through traffic at 100 miles an hour. We're just going to be keeping it chill. I'm going to be kind of just riding like I'm a kind of a car, but you know, personally I like to gain a little bit of ground on traffic because I don't really like stuff happening quickly behind me. Focus on riding your own ride and doing all the safety stuff. Shout out to Dan the fireman. You don't ever really truly appreciate your health until it's gone. And I think that one of the worst things in my mind would be that something would happen to me to where my family has to take care of me, or I can't take care of my family. We're just gonna do what we can. Do the things that we love so that way we enjoy life and share it with the people around you. Try to have a positive impact wherever you can, when you can. You know, just be a cool and chill guy. Just be a chill guy, man. But yeah, I might even post some fitness videos, you know, just as a kind of tracker of my journey. I feel like that'll also help me. My goal in life is just kind of do what it is that I enjoy and share it with the people who care to see it. You know, at the end of the day, you know, whether you have something good or bad to say about whatever it is that I'm doing, I'll tell you right now that I am doing this at the moment for me, and hopefully me doing what I love makes really good content for you and you just enjoyed it. And if you don't enjoy it, you know, let me know and I'll try to improve. But, you know, if you're a car guy, you don't like watching a guy riding a Harley, and then you tell me that you don't want to see me riding a Harley, well, you know, it's not my problem. I'm sure maybe eventually I'll go back to cars, you know, have something going on, but right now, this is it for me. I love it. The cost per performance is super nice. The cheap customization, the easy maintenance. I can't get enough of this. I've gone to a few bike meets in the past, and I've liked them. People are all really cool. Mostly all pretty responsible people. I just like it here. You know, it hasn't. It's kind of gotten some of that like Instagram clout behind it, that TikTok clout. You know, there's a lot of people who just don't have the balls to do this, so it's going to naturally just weed some of that out. And yeah, there's still going to be some people who are idiots, but you just, again, just ride your own ride, do what you're going to do, and it's just all going to work out fine. This road is super nice. They actually just redid it all last year. Not all of it. Here we're probably going to come across some rough terrain, but man, you know, I hope the camera picks this up as I see it. You know, sure, it's a little bit cloudy over there. It's a little bit nicer on that side, but it just can't be beat. That as the year goes on, things are going to change. Just feeling that warm sun against your skin, getting some of that heat in there, and feeling the wind, getting all the smells, being good or bad. Man, that's just the stuff that makes you feel like you're living, man. It does. But there's just something about this that you just don't get in a car. Yeah, it's a little windy, so hopefully going back and rewatching this, it's not just like a freaking wind tunnel. And I'm praying for clear audio. I did try to do a couple things to the mic to make this better, but if it's not, it is what it is. I think I might actually go ahead and turn it off of here, and we'll get you guys something a little bit more to look at. I just can't put into words how much I enjoy this, and yes, the Mazda brought me so much joy. But this right here, 359 on gas. Hopefully stuff starts to settle out in the political world. I'm not going to make any sort of comments on that. That $2 gas sure was nice. All nice, new, freshly paved roads. Some of you guys are probably going to be watching this and you're going to be getting jealous. But let me tell you, it's a long time coming, and we're spoiled the whole time. Yeah, there's all kinds of just beautiful houses, nice things to look at. Definitely live in a more rural area, so, you know, it's still pretty flat, not a lot of twists and turns. It's more of a mid-block system. But this is probably a little bit more entertaining to look at than being on the highway for however long. I don't know why this car's hitting the brakes. Code yellow situation. I'm so scared going over a big wall! Oh no, little bump! Yeah, we're talking pet peeves on a motorcycle. That right there is one of those overly cautious car drivers. You know, he might be new, he might just do something weird. You just can never fully tell what he's going to do. Hopefully you guys can kind of see him. But man, you know, I'm probably a little closer than I probably need to be, since they are so clearly finicky. You know, anything on the road can set them off. You know, stuff like this, you want to give them either plenty of space or get around them quick. Again, I don't really want to be hauling absolute booty cheeks tearing down these roads. It's probably a little bit less safe. So, you know, we'll just keep a watchful eye and hang back, let them do what they're doing. It is definitely windy. It's fucking windy! Yeah, guys, I hope anybody watching this is having a good experience in life right now. Those lights are bright, but you know, times are weird. Things are, you know, for me, starting to actually get up in the adult world. Things are going pretty well. I'm loving it. But I hope everybody is doing something that they enjoy. And if they don't, find it. It's never too late. You're never too young or too old. If you have an interest, go do it. And that includes doing something like this here. You know, while I am thinking about motorcycles and riding and stuff, I will do eventually an overview of the bike, and we'll get off and take a look at what I've got going on. You know, that'll probably be its own separate video. But I do have a few things already picked out for the bike. and I'll point all that stuff out. You know, I got this bike used, got it for, it was $5,800. I sold the MT-07 for $6,500. So by selling the MT-07, I actually managed to make a profit on this bike. The MT-07 paid for me purchasing this bike and then titling it and insuring it. Insurance actually is the exact same on this bike as it was on the MT-07. So neither one of which was bad. It was $70 a month. So I mean, how can you argue with that? I felt like I made a really sound financial decision moving from the MT-07 to this because I didn't lose any money. Technically, I made about $200 on the whole deal. So, you know, when you're looking at getting your own bike, definitely make sure to think about being financially sound. And even something like the MT-07 I bought used, and I bought it, I think for, what I bought it, I think $6,500. So I bought it for $6,500, and then sold it for close to that price, and then went and bought this outright. So I've had two bikes, and I'm still on the same $6,500. You know, and that MT-07, I bought relatively low mileage, and I rode the absolute crap out of it. Every day I could, I rode it. Same with this one here. So, you know, of course, if you're going to do something, be smart with it. Especially if it's going to be a motorcycle, guys. This is not a necessity. So, don't put yourself in a financial hole just so that way you can ride a bike. Don't finance a bike. I know it's tempting. I know sometimes you want a bike now. But, guys, owning the bike outright will make you so much less scared to drop the bike, which means that you will be a better rider. Within reason, the less scared you are when you're riding, the better you will be. You gotta make sure to keep a watchful eye, you know. Don't mistake cockiness for confidence. But man, when you're not afraid to do a parking lot maneuver and lay your bike down because it's already got a couple scratches on it, and you know it's old. This one's got over 50,000 miles. You know, and it'll just make you better. You know, I mean, how else are you going to learn the limit if you don't find it? So that's just something to consider. You know, you're going to be less inclined to do something like that, so you may never develop a skill that you need on the bike because you're too worried about laying it down because it's going to hurt you financially. You know, you got to learn how to handle your bike, man. And definitely, you know, take the courses, the advanced riders course, which I probably need to do, and the MSF course. Watch those safety channels. You know, keep an eye out. You know, talking about, say that was like a code yellow situation. Another shout out to Andy the fireman. Love that guy. But just stay diligent. Keep your eyes peeled. You know, just because you're doing something that's deemed as more dangerous doesn't mean that you have to be unsafe. You need to teach yourself to ride in a way that you know that whatever happens will be limited to being your fault. You know, be ready as you can for scenarios and get out there and, you know, fear keeps you alive, but don't let it control you, because, you know, you need it. Gonna go ahead and go visor up. Cranking the hog. Brother. Gotta watch out, because there can be cops around here, man. Oh, brother. That's one of my favorite things to do right now, is saying brother. I hope it's not like a racial thing, you know. If I'm culturally appropriating, let me know. But, you know, brother. Boy, is it fun. It's nothing like a good old brother. Get the juices flowing. Pause. Oh man. Shit. You're going too fast, guys. Oh, I forgot I have cruise control. Cruise control. This right here, the MT-07 did not have cruise control. I could take my hand off. I forgot all about it. See, I did all that highway riding, and I've gotten this far, and we're probably, what, maybe 25 minutes into a ride, and, you know, I didn't even use my cruise. Yeah, when having the discussion about, like, why I'd possibly choose this bike over the MT-07, you know, if I'm being honest, if I had the means, I'd have both. If you want to know my stance in the motorcycle community, you know, I'm very much a believer that the people who said that you probably can't have enough bikes are probably right. I mean, there's so many out there, there's so many variations. And, you know, just because you picked one to ride doesn't mean that you have to stick with the one, because, I mean, honestly, they're all great. They're all really good. And you might be on like a 600cc or a 1000cc sport bike, and you're like, oh, look at that slow Harley. But, you know, I can put my feet up on the pegs up here, and now my knees don't hurt anymore. You know? Like, that's hard to do on a sport bike. It's hard to replicate. Not everything that you do is going to be balls to the wall on the road, and if you are, you're asking to be a statistic. So, you know, why would I choose this over the MT-07 if I was being forced to choose? I mean, the comfortability aspect, of course, is going to be a huge one. Cruise control, got, you know, all my highway pegs, got all the stuff on the dash in front of me, got wind protection. Yeah, and it sounds good. It's a good soundtrack. Not that the MT-07 wasn't. They're both twin. There's just something about a parallel twin that just really gets you going. This thing is just, it's like having a sports car and a truck. You know what I mean? The MT-07 is your sports car. It's a little bit impractical, but man, it freaking rips, you know? We're talking 0 to 60 miles an hour in like, what, 3.5 seconds? Probably like 3.7 or something like that. You know? This thing's 5.5, you know? It's a big old motor. Sure, it doesn't really scoot, but, you know, 5.5 seconds in traffic, that's pretty freaking good. There's not a lot of cars around here that are going to go 0 to 60 in 5.5 seconds. And traffic in the real world with other people driving, you know, this is still a heck of a lot faster, lighter, and nimbler than a car. And I'm still comfortable, you know. There's a lot of joy in having something like this, and the specific feel of it is just really hard to describe. There's something about having like the bigger handlebars and, you know, the more comfortable seating position that really just appeals to you. And it's one of those things where this battle isn't necessarily won for me in the short ride, let's say an hour or less. That's when you start going 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. The MT-07, if I'm going 2 or 3 hours on it, I can't walk the next day. I could ride this all day and then go to bed when I get home, wake up, and not feel like I did it at all. And that's awesome. That's absolutely spectacular, you know? But, like, stuff like that just makes you feel like this is going to protect your body a little better. And when it comes to doing something every single day that's going to wear you down. But the MT-07, man, when you want to just twist that throttle, ooh, man, you could get that front wheel up on accident if you wanted to. Well, I guess it should say if you wanted to if it's an accident, but you get what I'm saying. You know, it's just, the MT-07 is throttled by wire, not throttled by water, it's a cable throttle. So everything that you do in here is just, it just immediately happens, you know? Like your hand is literally a direct reflection of your throttle. Something like this, it might kind of neuter you a little bit. You know, I'm not going to accuse it of doing such a thing, but, you know, throttle by wire versus cable throttle, you can't say that the bike's limiting your potential on something like the MT-07 because you are literally holding the throttle in your hand. So it's, you know, it's just such a different feeling, and when you start to learn how to ride it and stuff, it's like, it's twitchy, it's a little jumpy, you gotta learn it. Mine had a little bit of a dead space in the cable. I probably could have tightened it up and taken some of that out, but it was my beginner bike, so I wanted to have just a little bit of leeway. You know, I didn't want it to be super twitchy and, you know, do an accidental wheelie and loop it. And I didn't do that. You know, you just kind of learn the bike and figure it out and make it happen. And that MT-07, I mean, I cannot sing its praises enough. Like when you think about what it's designed to do, if you're going to use it in city riding or, you know, doing anything under highway speeds, that thing's a freaking beast. I mean, I'm not even joking. Anything under 60, especially if you're in, say, third gear, twist that throttle, bam, you're going 90. It's insane. It's insane. It's way. It's just a whole different beast. The bike was light. It was probably about, what, 400 pounds wet, 405. Made about 70 horsepower, which is about what this makes with horsepower. This makes a bit more torque, though. I think it's about 50 torque. Yamaha is going to be about 20 to 30. But I mean, when you talk about the way that MT-07 feels, you know, some people are going to argue that it's a really overhyped bike because everybody loves it. But there's a reason that everybody loves it. It's just so nimble and so agile, and it's just, you know, it does most of what you need to do when you need to do it. And you just can't beat that, you know? Something like this, if I want to do something kind of last second on the highway, I'm going to hesitate, you know? If I see a tight gap with a couple cars, I'm probably not going to take it because this just doesn't really, you know? Let's say 6th gear, for example. 6th gear, I could race a car on the MT-07. If I break this open right now, sure, it gives me some torque. I feel it. You know, it kind of scooted my butt. But this just, it doesn't feel like you can shoot a gap like the MT-07 could because you think about that throttle when you're in there. You're bam. And we're not even talking about, like, in the motorcycle world, a fast bike. But it's just really good. Like, it's a good all-rounder. It's really torquey. If you're in the mid-range, that's where you're hanging out, which a lot of people will in their commutes. It's exactly what you want. It's quick enough to where most things on the street cannot touch you if you care about racing. But it's also slow enough to where you can use a lot of the bike without getting yourself in too much trouble. You can actually shift 2-3 times before you're probably going to jail. And that's awesome. But that's the thing that you probably just... I've not personally ridden a 600 plus cc motorcycle that's a sport bike or other, but you see those videos of them doing acceleration and, you know, they're 80, 90, 100 miles an hour in first gear. What's the fun in that? Like, sure, it's probably face-meltingly fast, you know, but there's something about slamming gears that just really makes the hobby enjoyable. You can sure you're the fastest thing around, but if you're going well past the speed limit in the state in first gear, to me it just seems like it'd be less fun. You're just going to be shoot everything in a straight line, and that's pretty much it. And there's a reason a lot of people come off of this. I'm not saying it's a possible bike to ride. I'm not saying it's a skill level thing, although some people it might be. But to me, I just don't see the point. Not because I'm afraid of the speed, but because I just don't think, like, I feel for myself I'd be better off on a 600 or even like a 750. I feel like you can do a lot more with those bikes. Snap on! Want some tools? Yeah, there's definitely something about going through a lot of these small towns that's just amazing. Was that a side-by-side? Damn! Oh yeah. Go ahead and feel out the bike. This is one of those things right here that is just so good with a motorcycle. It's just kind of feeling it out, getting to lean over a little bit, you know, doing your little dance, little worm squirm. Builds your confidence, forces you to feel the bike leaning over, and once you start getting comfortable, you can start doing that. Oh man, does it just kind of change perspective on riding.